Hello and welcome to the show today. My name is Zen Cryer DeBrook, and we are going to talk about how to hack divine guidance today. Divine intelligence is what we're going to be talking about. And so I am so excited to be here. I've had this huge revelation about my work, the internal guidance system, which I've been doing forever. And I have to tell you, when you birth something into the world, okay, no, I did not create this, but I decoded it. I decoded how our own internal guidance system works with divine intelligence, how it recalibrates our thinking to be in alignment with something bigger than ourselves that knows our life's purpose and path. And and in decoding it, it's like bringing something fresh and new into the world, and you have to explain it to people and sharing with them how to work and trying to figure it out. And it's literally been, it's been a trudging experience. Like birthing something new is difficult. You can ask anybody who's brought in a new technology. I came out of the tech world in the 1990s, and as we were getting into new stuff, right? Bringing in new stuff is hard. So for years, I've been trying to figure out exactly how to, metaphorize. I don't think that's a word, but I like it anyways. Create a metaphor around what this is and how to use it and how to think about it. Okay. And I've been researching AI and artificial intelligence and how to use AI in a business setting. And I purchased a course, my first course in artificial intelligence. And as I was learning to play with it yesterday, I was working with prompts. Now, what a prompt is it's the way that you tell the artificial intelligence what you need in order for it to respond with an answer. All right. And there's really good ways to use prompts, and then there's really bad ways to use prompts. It's how good your prompt is lets you know how well the artificial intelligence machine that you're working with will be able to respond to you. Okay. And then I realized that's exactly what I teach people to do using their internal guidance system. So I want to explain this to you. You have an internal guidance system inside of you. It shows up when you have a lump in your throat, a tightness in your chest, or a sick feeling in the solar plex area of your stomach. Okay. These are three different areas, and they have three different ways of communicating with you. This is when you have self-limiting beliefs. It shows up as a lump in the throat, feels like almost a disc or like a blockage. The chest feels like anxiety, stress, worry, overwhelm, frustration, impatience, irritation, okay, guilt, shame, doubt, concern, just to name a few. Procrastination shows up in the chest. And then the solar plex area shows up like a consistent rock churning, hard feeling. This is real time information, past, present, and future, as you're thinking through the past, the present, and the future. It shows up here with an expansion, expanding feeling if you're in alignment, or a contracting feeling if your thoughts are taking you out of alignment. And this area, when it's locked up, is a belief system that's coloring the way you're thinking about something in a big general way. It's coloring it, and it's not true. It's a belief system, an unexamined assumption that's not true. Now, when you get that closed sensation, right, you have to then look at what you're thinking in the moment to determine what is not true about your thinking, or what is not going to happen in the way that you're thinking about the future. Okay. Or if you're thinking about the past, it could be what didn't actually happen the way you're thinking it happened in the past. And so over the years, I have decoded all of these different ways to find that information, to play with the mind in order to get this to open back up. Because once the tension in the hair releases, and it releases instantly, the second you find the thinking that is actually true and in alignment, and you've got that divine intelligence guiding you to find that alignment. When your thinking is alignment, you're back on track with your most successful and highest good, and you continue down that trajectory with those thoughts. Everything that I've been teaching and decoding is basically a prompt. When I talk to you about, for instance, guilt is always closing. Guilt is a false belief about what makes you a good or a bad person. Guilt, you never do anything about. It just tortures you. You feel guilty about something, not feeding your kids well enough, or not getting enough sleep, or continuing to do that addictive thing that you say you're not going to do, whether it be scrolling, drinking, smoking, gambling, shopping, continuously doing that, right? That guilty feeling that you have. It's always closing. It's never true. And so, in that, the prompt of what you're looking for as you're searching through your thinking and playing with it until you get the divine intelligence opening that you're in, you hit the right piece of information is what is it about this that has me feel like I'm not a good person? What is the belief I have that I'm not a good person for feeding my kids pizza again? Where did that come from? That's not true for me. Remorse is always opening. So if you have remorse, the difference is you take action. Remorse is like repentance. You want to make amends. You want to fix the situation. You want to change it. Where guilt never changes. It's just a program in the head that keeps running. And so as you go through your life, what I'm really teaching you to do is how to connect to divine intelligence, how to look at what you're thinking, what prompt to use to change that thinking in a direction that's going to open you. Isn't that cool? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Let me open up my comments here in the chat. I'd love to hear what you think about this concept because it's super important. We really are, in learning to use your internal guidance system, we truly are learning to mine our access to divine intelligence that comes through the body, giving us feedback on the thoughts that we're having. And so, what makes this super cool, right, is that now you can think about this in that way. You can think about when you have that closed sensation happening. What prompt does Zen teach me to do, right? That will bring me into an opening. So, for instance, when you're triggered by something in your world, okay, one of the prompts that I teach you is to look at the world around you as a mirror. The thing that's in your mirror is showing up in your face, and you're triggered because there's some place that you're either doing it to yourself, you're doing that thing to someone else, or it's something that you want to do. It's annoying you, and there's something you want to do that you won't let yourself do. Maybe you think that it's wrong or it's bad. There's a moral code. You have to do things in a particular way, and that thought is not true for you. You'd really like to be able to take a sick day at work when you're not really sick. And you see somebody who's at work, it's triggering you because they take sick days and you know they're not sick. And that really makes you angry because you would never, ever do that. And yet, they never get in trouble. Their boss never yells at them, right? You would never do that. You'd never take the chance of getting in trouble. But the reality is, the reason why you're triggered is you'd really love to take a personal day. You'd really love those to have that day where you really are just not feeling up for being out there in the world and hoofing it again. And you'd really love to be able to stop and pull back and take a day to recoup in your own life. And you're angry at that person because they get the right to do it and you're not letting yourself do it. That's an example of a prompt. Like, I'm triggered. So where am I doing this to myself, someone else, or it's something I want that I won't let myself have? Procrastination. Okay. You've heard me talk about procrastination. Procrastination is extremely stressful. It runs around. I didn't get it done again. I'm not getting it done. I'm behind on this. I'm behind on that. Right. And stress is always closing. So, how do you deal with when you're procrastinating on something? The prompt that I teach you is one of four questions to ask yourself. And when you open to one of the four, you know you're on the right track. Procrastination is number one, it doesn't need to be done at all. It's something that your mind has made up that needs to be done that doesn't need to be done. It's going to fall off your list, or the situation's going to change, and so will the deliverable or the thing. So you're procrastinating because it doesn't need to be done. Two, the timing. It's not good timing. There's a perfection in the world to divine timing. We all know that. And so the world hasn't lined up around that thing, having everything's ready to go for you to do it and do it with ease and smoothly. Three, it's not yours to do. Somebody else needs to do it. Like, let's say you're procrastinating on organizing the garage, but it's really your husband's stuff that's in there and it's his job to do. And he's the one who you need to talk to about doing it. It's not yours to do. You'll just lose all of his stuff and have him be mad at you for months because you moved all his stuff, right? And then the fourth one is you're making it too complicated. You have this huge amount of steps that you think you need to take or way that you need to do this, and it's too complicated. And so that's why you're procrastinating, is because the way you're thinking about it needs to be simplified. Promise you, play with these prompts when you're procrastinating on something. It's not a character flaw. You're not lazy. You just haven't gotten the opening to move forward with the task because one of those four things are a problem. Trust. When you mistrust somebody, I tell you what to do. I give you the prompt to look, why am I mistrusting this situation or this person? And there's 5 components that need to be in place for you to trust something. Here's the prompt, right? The prompt is, one, is that the person is competent or the situation can be handled competently. right? That's number one. There's no competency, you can't trust it. Two, is there reliability in the situation? Can you reliably count on the person to show up and do what they say they're going to do? Is the person sincere? Do they lie and say they didn't get the email? Or do they say that they, come back and raise the bid and they say, oh, I forgot this piece or this price went up and there's a sincerity issue. You can't fix sincerity, by the way. You can't trust a person that's insincere. You need to find a new person. Do they have the resources to do the project? Okay. Your teenager may want to, go and take on this job and, work all summer long, but they really don't have the resources to get back and forth to work. You're going to have to take them and you can't because you got your own stuff going on. They don't have the resources. You can't trust for them to be able to do that job all summer long on their own without your input and support. And then last but not least, time. Do they have enough time? If they are competent and they are reliable and they're sincere and they have the resources and the time, you can trust them. Okay. But if one of those are out, you now know why it's out and you can have a conversation. See how these are all just like prompts that I'm giving you? Now, if you are new to this and you want to dive into, your divine intelligence, you want to be able to, when your internal guidance system goes into a tightness in your body, every single time you're being given guidance that you need to shift your thinking and you want to learn the prompt to unravel any challenging situation in your life ever, I'm not joking. I don't care if it's a long-standing argument or problem that you've had with your spouse. I don't care if it's a sister you haven't talked to in years, or if it's a boss who's never recognized you and the work you put in and you can't seem to get that raise or that promotion or that project you want to be on. Whether it's a health issue and you're trying to figure out how to get yourself to a new place physically with your body, or they're having a spiritual breakdown where you're just not feeling connected to something bigger than yourself and not knowing your purpose, there is a prompt. There is a way to access your divine intelligence through your internal guidance system and get the answers you need to solve the challenges you face, all of them in your life. Every single human being on this planet has been born with the internal guidance system that I teach about. You have been feeling it your whole life. Every time you felt anxious, every time you felt worry, fear, overwhelm, every time you feel frustrated, every time you feel frustrated, you want to know what prompt for frustration is? I'm sure you do. I'll just tell you. The prompt for frustration is it's a situation or a thing in your life that your mind believes cannot change. Cannot change. So the frustration is, I cannot seem to get my business to get to the place I want it to be to sustain my family. I'm so frustrated. I've been working at this for years. It's because your mind thinks that there's a situation that can't change. This won't change. And you're closed, which means that thought's not true. And there is a way, and what you need to do is you need to work with the prompt. How is it that this situation needs to change to produce what I need to? And when you get the opening, that is the guidance you need and the action you need to take. Is when you play with that, with the prompt of how am I thinking this will never change? And it can. I'm thinking I'm never going to actually crack the code of how to talk about my product. I'm never actually going to crack the code of how to replicate myself and not have to be working 80 hours and be able to hire somebody to get this thing to the next level with me. Whatever it is, that situation, once you find that opening, that's the step you need to take in that frustrating situation or that frustration, right? Now, irritation is always with a person. And that's about a person never being able to change. How do I believe this person who's irritating me is not going to be able to change? And when you play with it until you find the release and the opening of the irritation, now you know what it is that how that situation with that person can change and the conversation you need to have or exactly the steps you need to take to release that irritation and get back into alignment, back into intimacy and back into doing well. Is this making sense for those of you who are watching out there? Love to see you in the comments. We're waiting to also, this is coaching, so we're waiting for someone to see if someone shows up today for coaching. We're back. We have coaching tomorrow at 9 a.m. as well, Pacific Standard Time. All of our calls are on Pacific Standard Time. If you'd like to show up, invite a friend to watch this live, it'd be wonderful. And then we have another call at 2 o'clock on Sunday afternoon, Pacific Standard Time. Remember, there's the time change this weekend. We are going back into daylight savings. Yay! It's going to be wonderful to have those longer evenings. I am so looking forward to spring being here in summer. And so now the other piece that I want to say is that what solved for me is that this is not your intuition. When I talk about divine intelligence, okay, divine intelligence, what is that? It is not intuition. This internal guidance system is not intuition. Divine intelligence is what I believe it's attached to each person, so each person's personal blueprint for their life. These are the things in this lifetime that I am here to accomplish, to challenge myself, to grow in my spiritual relationship with God, in my capacity to live my purpose as a soul. And there's a perfect blueprint. And then what happens is we come down, we incarnate into this baby as a baby. We go through our life, we collect a bunch of limiting beliefs, a bunch of defenses that we have against pain. Our stress themes come into play, everything, the things that we are always afraid of are always causing us hurt. And we begin to like get this blueprint gummed up, and it becomes unclear as to what we're here to accomplish. Now, as the world keeps moving forward, we are always on our divine path, and the people and the places and the situations and the things they come in, but we kind of lose our focus on the blueprint. And so this internal guidance system, I believe, is like the Holy Spirit. It was given to us to nurture us, to minister it to us, to give us clarity by feeling the expansion and contraction in our body, as well as this divine way of being able to calibrate back into that blueprint and back into alignment with our divine source. That divine intelligence knows the blueprint and is working with us to get us to have it be the best and clearest it could possibly be for us. Okay. And part of how it leads us is through this profound desire, right? So for instance, that can look like having a desire to know what your contribution and your gifts are in the world. Tasha, I love that. I'm glad you're here. I'd love to hear comments from you, from people out in there. She's diving in with a big giant yes here. I'll show that up here. So that divine intelligence is attached to you as a personally, and it's always operating 24/7 through the experience of being connected to your body, your beautiful temple of your soul. Okay. Intuition is a gift, and different people have different intuitive gifts, and they show up differently, and the types of information you can get are different, and when you get that information can be different. How you get it can be different in different people. It isn't necessarily attached to your blueprint. You can get an intuitive hit about a person who you need to share a piece of information with. You can get an intuitive hit about not going to the beach today, and then you find out that something, we needed to be home for something that was really important. There's all kinds of ways that we get these little intuitive hits, and it's not necessarily attached to divine intelligence. It can be tapping into something greater and bigger than ourselves as a gift, but there's a divine intelligence that each and every single human being on the planet has access to at all times. And learning to work with that to make your life go easier, to stay on that optimal blueprint, to be able to go through the challenges, because we didn't come here to just have everything be perfect. We came here to actually have challenges. We came here to test ourselves, to put ourselves through fire, to see what our grit is about, what we're really truly made of, to deepen our resources, our resilience, and our strength. And yes, we absolutely also came here to be in love and to have exquisite relationships and beautiful sunrises and sunsets and make love and smell the flowers and the coffee and first thing in the morning, right? It's a yes and to all of it. That blueprint holds that, as well as the most optimal way for us to move through it as the courageous, brilliant being that you are. How do you do it really well? That's what the divine intelligence is here to teach you. And that you can find by going to BeFearFreeNow.com. At BeFearFreeNow.com, that's where I teach you these prompts. That's where I teach you how to connect to divine intelligence. That's how I teach you how to manage I don't care how challenging the person is in your life, how many years they've been causing you pain. I don't care how long you've been yearning for that business, or how much you've tried to change the way that you are, or how big of a jerk your husband is and it's never going to change. I don't care what it is. If you learn the way to work with your divine intelligence through your IGS, and IGS stands for internal guidance system, and you understand how to work with your thinking through these brilliant prompts that I've decoded to find openings, your life will be the best it could possibly be. And you will be filled with joy, and you will be confident that you know that you are absolutely able to do your best every single day. All right, so that's my new message that I'm super excited about is really how this internal guidance system can be used with these prompting of how to work with your thinking so that it's much easier for you to grasp when you're closed, finding that opening and staying in that opening by understanding what the closing is about and how to find the opening with these tools that I give you. So I don't have anybody who's come today, and that's the end of my little wonderful spiel. So I just want to invite you to come be a part of the Fear Free Human Collective and learn how to master your life so that you can get out there and have the best one possible for yourself. Go to befearfreenow.com. That's befearfreenow.com. You can have a 14-day free experience where I give you a trial for 14 days with the top prompts that makes the biggest difference in your life. Go through them day by day, use each and every one of them so you can see how working with your mind changes, okay? And do it for free. At the end, you'll have the opportunity to either cancel, because I have a membership that's $47 or $97, depending on how much access you want to spending time with me. And if not, go ahead and let the $47 membership start. Come and start coaching with me and get all the rest of the hundreds of prompts that I have on solving the situations that you get yourself into and your blueprint that you'd like to get out of with ease in your best possible way. All right, so that's it for today. Tasha, thank you so much for being here, and thank you for watching, everybody. I look forward to it. Bring a friend, tell people about this, hit subscribe if you would, so that way you get notifications of when I'm going live. I love having you here, and I will see you tomorrow at 9 a.m. Bye for now, everyone.